First of all, we'd like to thank to the Bickle and Brewer Foundation and the New York University for making this wonderful event even possible. And we would also like to thank our dear judges and our respectable opponents for dedicating their time. Before we begin, let us clarify that the affirmative assumption, the ultimate goal of the space exploration, is a human presence, is merely an unjustified assumption. We believe that focusing on such a sci-fi goal leads us astray. Rather, we believe that the purpose of space exploration in the same as any other well-meaning human activity, to improve the life on the Earth. Also, we would like to clarify significant focus, which we hold to be prioritizing the uncrewed programs in terms of funding and resources. This does not rule out the possibility of limited human space missions, but if there was a choice, we should not choose them. The affirmative burden to win this debate is to show that their plan has a more formal cost-benefit ratio than the negative proposal. It is not enough for the affirmative to show that their policy brings the large benefits, but they also need to justify the cost and prove that the comparable benefits cannot be achieved in an easier, cheaper, and more appropriate way, which we, as a negative side, propose. So now, moving on to the negative, to the affirmative case. In the terms of energy and resources extraction, we do not see why humans should be the ones to do this. Their higher cost and lower efficiency, and the affirmatives have to sustain these drawbacks. Even if there was something we should do, as the doubt the breaks even, we can have sturdy, industrial, disposable robots getting this researched and automatic probes to get the solar energy. Even if every single kilogram brought by the space shuttle into orbit turned into solid gold, it would still not pay for itself. Not only that, so far, only the two probes were able to land on an asteroid, making it extremely dangerous undertaking, especially for acute missions, but also extremely costly due to the need to A, stop the asteroid from spinning, B, produce artificial gravity for engineers, and C, maintain life-supporting systems such as oxygen supply. Currently, the cost is estimated above $2,000 per kilogram of this particular matter. As for inspiration, people get inspired by breaking the barrier. And yes, putting a man on Mars is breaking one, but it is a very long run. People can be inspired by other spectacular successes, like a probe to Europa, which is easier and cheaper to achieve. Investment in human missions development might inspire more and play off better than funding the Olympics of the World Cup, but it is not too different from non-manned missions. Secondly, as for the interest in science, we stress the break in the barrier analysis as it applies, but also we believe that in the iPhone generation, the current technology driven by people, we get at least equally, if not more, inspired by robots. We can see this on the example of Hubble telescope, for example. Hubble is African's gift to the world, said Barbara Michalowski from Maryland. Its jaw-dropping images have rewritten the textbooks and inspired generations of school children to study math and science. It has been documenting the history of the universe for 21 years. Lastly, given the affirmative desire to colonize 4 more living room, we doubt that it is financially viable compared to the utilizing more space that is still available on Earth, like Alaska or Siberia. We hence lose money for an apparent reason that could be dedicated to addressing the world's problems. Secondly, it is not desirable for the living conditions we will barely live in livable and automatically worse than anywhere on Earth. Let us now address the international cooperation issue. With regards to space exploration, first, we call reverse causality. You need to first trust your partners with your top secret research, then start space exploration. In itself, space exploration does not foster friendly relations. It is an offshoot of them. Second, affirmatives show no reason why the claimed benefits uniquely stem from human rather than the robotic missions. In fact, robotic cooperation is an easier and more productive. Your focus is getting a goal done, not placing a vulnerable citizen somewhere in space. Because every contribution counts equally, more countries are willing to cooperate. With this settled, let me examine the inherent advantages of humans that were presented by the affirmative. As for the issue of robots' behavior in space, there are two cases here. Either you have an intimate problem, like an asteroid bound to destroy you. Here, we can have automated systems to avoid the immediate threat. On you are conducting research which can be controlled remotely, in which case you have plenty of time to react, to choose the correct samples and to analyze them properly, and hence the possible time delay will not significantly influence the quality of research done. Additionally, according to research at Brown University, while humans' capabilities have remained around constant, robots' capabilities have been augmented significantly in time. Last, as for Affirmative's point about human efficiency, this statement is not founded in the real world. Humans could hardly get as far as the robots can, i.e., while there were many robot missions to Mars, the human one has not even seriously planned it, not to mention the increased cost. Moving on to the spin-offs issue, we can see that the humans' missions have the random spin-off benefits. However, it is not a significant reason to focus on the human missions for three reasons. First, past random successes doesn't guarantee future discoveries. Much of the low-hanging fruit has not been taken, so we can expect a decline in spin-offs. Second, non-human missions have spin-offs of their own, which might be less useful in human biology, but more useful for the, everyday electronics, which we now rely on significantly. Third, systematic research by probes, not just random discoveries, while making them guarantee better results. Human missions are limited in what they aim to do, as we will now show. Focusing on non-human missions aids humanity much more reliably. Last, let us explain our vision of space exploration. We want to make this world a better place. We believe that robotic missions are best fitted for the task of getting more data, discovering space, and thus providing potential for greater knowledge and new inventions much easily than for lower cost. While humans might be great explorers, and we concede that maybe robots will never be as perfect explorers as they are, we still believe that we should opt for robots as they have advantage of reach and costs. Simply said, robotic missions can boldly go beyond where any man has ever ventured. Humans will always lag behind robots, as they did with space at first, Mars, right now, and always will, even if humans will eventually reach Mars, for robots will already be discovering Pluto or Europa. Not to mention the issue of cost. As we can see now, according to the Roger Delaunius, Apollo astronauts may have gone 5 times as far as 9 days, but they required 180 times as much money to do so. Robotic missions are useful for defending this world. They protect us, can get obtained, and relay this information about inbound solar flare or asteroid. To conclude, the affirmative notion of space exploration is fantastical and impractical. It does not serve the world we live in as highly doubtful, and it serves any other world well better either. The negative proposes a practical, systematic approach to maintaining and improving the quality of life on Earth. This is where you should cast your ballot.